Glen and Mel, just catching up where we got to last year. So I've got a couple of models happening here, really focusing on the main house, and one is round and one is back to where you had it before without the curves and things like that. So let me show you starting off with the one which I introduced a lot of curves into the garden component. So the curved edge pool, I've got these big giant steel bands around a couple of existing trees. The fire pit nestles into that garden bed there again, in a circular manner. Driveways coming down, as you know. And so you can see I've gone for a combination of lawn areas and garden beds amongst all that existing foliage and existing trees. Now what I want you to do is just ignore the plants. I've just dotted them in at this stage to give you an indication of what's garden bed and things like that. So pretty much all of the front, behind the front fence will be all garden bed. It looks like lawn at the moment, but just ignore that. Just for the moment, this is a work in progress. Just want to stress that this is not a finished product by any means. So these are the big floating steps that you've already got. We did talk about putting in a vegetable garden into the front here. So this is a pretty rudimentary one with timber boxes, and they could be stone, they could be concrete, they could be brick, they could be all sorts of different things. So it's really just one way of talking to you about what we could do in this little space here. So I've done a little bit of a cut and level area there. On your balcony, I really like the idea that you can have these sliding doors coming out from the office here and access this little balcony to be able to go and sit out and enjoy the space and chat on the phone. By all means, keep that little bit of privacy screen happening there, but I don't think it should return to the office. I think we should put either just a solid panel there or a pool fence in between the pool area and the office itself. The pool, what I really want to do is I want to connect it really well with the lawn spaces and the garden spaces. So again, straight edge along the back, but I've done a spillover edge with this curved corner and a rolled top, and it really links well with the garden spaces, and certainly with that water coming over there and lighting along that edge. It really connects well with the garden, and I think particularly from the point of view of looking at it from the house as well. Being able to see the water cascading down this face of it, the face that's closest to us, I think that's worth doing. I think you get a nice result. If you're going to have a spillover edge, just putting the spillover edge at the far end, I don't think that's going to work overly well. The spa, I've gone for a round spa in this case, again with a rolled edge, spillover edge all around. So these are just options to be able to talk to you about. I've introduced these curves as just a mechanism of almost juxtaposition, but just softening the hard edge lines of the house. Now in the second concept, I'm moving away from that idea of softening, and I've gone back for more hard edge and geometric sort of shapes. Again, ignore the plantings. They're just limited plants that I've got on this package. So these are the big steel bands that I want to put around the existing trees. We can get rid of them. We can have lawn all the way up just to the trunks. I've got a fire pit in the middle of these existing trees. Now I think they're probably going to be need to be pruned back and let lots of light in and kind of skirt up the lower parts of their trunks and things like that, but we can determine that at another time. So fire pit, combination of rocks, just natural sort of granite rocks sitting in there. I do want to, it's kind of a strong circle, but it will be softened when you go and put in a whole bunch of plantings around it. Now I know Mel's really keen on Australian native plants. That's good. We'll aim for an entire native planting. And I know you weren't a big fan of this round intersection here. I've run with it for the time being, because it really just links in with the rest of the shapes that are happening in the rest of the garden here. So looking out from the main living room there, garden beds, path, those existing trees, and then the lawn areas to the right hand side, where you're going to get a lot more light coming in from that right hand side. The entrance, I love those big steppers. I've have left them as is. In this particular instance, it was just burnished concrete. I really think that the path between the carport and the front door should be absolutely level, no steps, no gaps, just really easy to get to. And I really love the fact that it's floating. On the left-hand side here, you can see that curved piece of steel. I've done a bit of a garden bed there, but I really love the idea that the rest is just going to be gravel. And in this instance, what I've done at the entrance, I've dotted in a couple of ferns. It could be anything. Again, don't take them too literally, but I really wanted to be able to demonstrate to you how this entrance would look if we softened it down, and obviously keeping planting to an absolute minimum there. I think you mentioned that the front door is going to be timber. I've just put it in glass at the moment because I wanted to be able to take you through this entrance. One of the things that we talked about was coming through this entrance and using this window on the other side of the entrance hallway as a picture frame. And what I thought we'd do is really simple plantings, basically grasses, and then just a sculptural element. And so what I've done here for a sculptural element is I've just kind of taken wharf timbers and I've created a little series of sort of modern Ned Kellys. And this is something that I think you should actually build yourself. Get your hands dirty and get in there and actually build this and turn this into a story. That it's something that you built and you created and you designed, and it becomes a fascinating little well, obviously looks interesting, fantastic at night time with lighting and all of that, but it also comes with a bit of a story, which I really love as well. So I've got some decking at the rear of that guest bedroom, and so this design, I've just taken all the plants and all the trees out of the equation, and I've gone for some stronger geometric shapes in the form of hexagons here. Again, bordered with the big steel. These are just a painted black steel. These garden beds are where the existing trees are at the moment. I've kept that winding path running through the garden bed there. I like the idea of being able to get to the wood storage on the side of the carport. I've moved away from these curved edges and gone back to the hard edges, and again with the swimming pool back to being straight line. It's obviously 1.2 meters in height. I would like to see the spillover edge more on this side as much as anything, because it creates good connectivity with the garden, and obviously at night time doing lighting on the upside of the spillover edge looks stunning. The little bit of curve that you see in that paving there is just carryover from the previous drawing. I'll probably square that off. Gone back to the square spa. In that previous one where I had it as a circular spa, I know you've got some underground space just underneath those chairs there. So things to talk about just there. This one, again, the same floating steps that the floating steps that you had before. I've moved into just, again, really keeping that simple. I've gone for some succulents on the left-hand side there in that big steel planter bed, which is also floating, a steel planter bed in front of that stone wall there, and really just gone for a big, open, wide space in and just keeping it all nice and straight here. So I did want to talk to you about not putting plants in here. I've got another object sitting behind those concrete pads there, which is just a straight line, which I thought we could do as a taper maybe, and that could be really interesting. And again, this is clad in those small tiles, those bricks that you were talking about. On the right hand side here, as we come in through the entrance, I've gone for a quite an ornate vegetable area. It's again picking up on the theme of the big steel edges. It's really just a big wagon wheel of garden beds, of raised garden beds. They're about 200 mil off the ground. So a combination of paving and gravel and the vegetable gardens, which I think would look stunning at night time when lit up. And then you can see this kind of rolling curved stone wall at the back, in the background there. Now that could be done in stone, it could be done in the rammed earth, lots of different options there. And all that grass that you're seeing around that area, that'll actually all be garden bed. This whole thing will be garden bed. There's no room for lawn through there. On the second house, where I'm at with the process, and this is just something to talk about in a live meeting, is just how we're going to get this driveway to work. It's one thing to be able to get the cars in to turn around and come into the garage, but they've also got to be able to come out and turn and back and drive off again. So I'm playing around with this extended area here, as somewhere that cars can park and cars can turn back again. And then I've gone for a lawn in the front, garden beds around the perimeters. Really trying to keep this as simple as possible at this point in time, because I know that this is we need to sort of make a decision as to how much money you're going to spend on the landscaping, and this house is obviously going to be sold off at some point. So here's the pool. I've moved it actually hard up against the house. I want to talk to you about the ledge that's coming off the house. It really just fits in the corner, in the line of the house here. So big decking, raised garden beds, pool fencing, obviously. It's a big deck. You can see here that we can get lots of furniture and things in a poolside entertaining in there. Outdoor dining table on this piece of paving. So this is going to come down to probably cost. We can turn this into a fantastic landscaped area, but it's going to come at a cost, and probably don't want to go spending too much money on the landscape. But the pool, the spa, the decking, the paving, that all works really well with the house. And from a sales point of view, I was actually thinking that we'd just leave the rest of it as flat lawns, which is really good for families with kids and things like that. So a bit of screen planting, there'll be more softened planting around the front of the house, but this is kind of where I'm at the moment, just in terms of being able to talk to you about it. So have a look through the videos, have a little bit of a ponder on some of my comments just now. We'll organise a Zoom meeting, and then we'll go through it in further detail. And at some stage, what I'm going to do with these presentations is really ramp them right up, and we're going to turn them into a really sort of beautiful piece of marketing material. But they're pretty rudimentary at this stage. So anyway, chat to you soon.